Thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. Today we are joined by a very special guest who will share with us her wellness and weight loss journey. Now, my guest is full of inspiration and insight, and I'm super excited to hear how she's going to tell us about her wellness and weight loss journey, but also incorporate elements around her Christian faith and her love for running. So, if you're ready, welcome, Sheila. How are you?
I'm very, very well today, thank you, and really pleased to be part of your podcast today, Angela.
Well, it is great to have you with us today, Sheila. So to get started, Sheila, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
I am someone that loves health and fitness. Always have had an interest I can remember at school doing projects when I was in my late teens about health and fitness. So it's always been an interest of me at one point I did even think about going to train to be a dietitian, but it wasn't for me. So I've always had an interest in health and fitness. And back in the 80s, I was one of those people at your aerobics class and, keep fit classes and things like that. So I've always been interested in fitness and always, because that was the thing, that everyone was into dieting as it was. And I'll say something about that. Dieting, that was the word we used. We was on a diet. Whatever was in the newspaper or whatever, or a magazine, you bought the magazine and you followed that diet, and that was how you lost your weight. So yeah, that's my kind of background of health and fitness. Always been an interest to me.
Yeah. I remember back in the days, it was pop mobility. Do you remember that? Pop mobility. And then, I'm showing my age now. We're showing our age.
Yes.
Pop mobility. And then aerobics. Yeah.
I used to have so many videos, the Jane Fonda workout, and I used to sit. If I didn't go to a class, I did the classes at home with my video, and and I remember my lime green shell suit that I got from the market as well. So yeah, I was very much into it.
And the leotards. Do you remember the leotards? Yeah.
Well, with a little waistband on it as well, yeah.
And the sweatbands and the headbands.
Didn't we look the part?
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. So you've always been interested in fitness and health and wellness. So tell us a little bit about your wellness and weight loss journey. Where does it start for you?
It started, I'd say, after I left school. So maybe after I did my A levels. As I said, that was the thing in the 80s. Everybody went to the gym. So I joined my local leisure centre and started going along to keep fit classes and step aerobics, and I absolutely loved it. I used to go 2 or 3 times a week, made a lot of friends there as well. Even used to go away on these fitness weekends and that, So that was where I kind of started. I also used to do some other sort of keep fit classes as well, but I joined a gym and I was there 2 or 3 times a week. So yeah, that was partly where I started from. So it would have been about age 19, 20.
Okay. So have you always been slim, or did you gain some weight? Because I know that you are very much into following the Weight Watchers plan.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, there was a point where, as I said, I used to go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week, and then I wanted to do some further study to sort of help me in because I work in NHS management, and you get to a certain point, you think, well, I need to do some more to progress further. So I started doing these evening classes, and which meant if I was going to go to an evening class, I couldn't go to the gym. So I found the gym membership sort of fell by the wayside. And what happened was, I think I had to take a picture for your ID badge. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, is that me? Because I had a fatter face and I didn't look the same. And I thought, I knew where the weight was creeping on, because what would happen is I didn't have time to make my dinner in the evening. It was literally straight from work to college, which meant that I was not really making it time. And that time, it was because you were there for 2.5 hours, you had a break in between. So you get something from the vending machine, a chocolate bar and things like that. So before you knew it, I'd put weight on, and I think I gained about 1.5 stones over a period of maybe over a period of about a year or two. And that was at that point I thought, once I'd finished the course, I thought, Sheila, you've got to rein this in and start trying to do something, get back to going to the gym. And then I think I must have been buying a magazine. I used to buy lots of magazines. So I used to buy fitness magazines. I used to buy Weight Watchers magazine and Slimming magazines. You name it, I had it. And and I found a class near me, and that was where I started going. And I think the first time that I lost weight, I lost the 20 pounds in about 10 weeks, which I was really pleased with. I can't say that has happened again since, but the weight just came off. And it was at that point that I thought, diet and exercise really does go together. So that was the very first time that I lost weight, and it's kind of stayed with me.
Right. So how was that at a slimming club that you lost your weight?
Yes, I went to, it was actually not Weight Watchers, it was Slimming Magazine Club, and it was local to me. And you'd go in and they would weigh you, and there would be a little talk. And at the end of it, we just sort of congratulate people who'd lost weight, or they never made you, there was no shaming or anything like that, but they're very particular about celebrating your successes as well. So I kept it off for a couple of years, and then I think probably similar thing again. It started to creep back on. I found it hard to maintain, probably because I lost it so quickly that I probably didn't have enough education on how to maintain that weight loss, which I think can be the problem. You think I've done it now, but what you don't realise is it's how do I maintain this weight loss? And I didn't know how to do it. So I think it gradually crept back on. And then it was at that point I found, I don't think that particular club was there. So I found another club, and that was the start of me going to Weight Watchers. So I've done
Right.
over the years, for many years, actually. It's been a part of my life for many years.
Wow. So what, 5, 10 years, more
More
than
than
that?
that, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so are you around your target weight at the moment
I
to
am.
take
I'm
it?
not far off it now.
Okay.
I at the moment probably about half a stone to get back to my gold weight, but I've been really pleased with my progress so far. I've kept
Fantastic.
it off. Yeah,
So
definitely.
how has Weight Watchers supported you with their program to maintain that weight? Because as you say, losing the weight is one thing, and then
Yeah,
our lifestyle can change and it could gradually
that's
get
right.
back
Yeah,
on.
gets in the
So
way. Yeah.
as I say, this you then joined Weight Watchers. You've been a member of your local club for many, many years, and you successfully maintaining within a range.
Mhm.
What have you learned through Weight Watchers that has helped you to maintain?
I think in the last couple of years, particularly the virtual workshops, it's the community. The virtual workshops, I can join them any time. People can be in all different parts of the UK, and we can share our successes, share tips together, celebrate our successes, just learn from each other. So that's part of it. So I can dip into it at any time. But my actual class that I go to, again, it's really supportive. I've learned a lot about the things that work well for me, and what might work well for you, Angela, may not necessarily work well for me. But I've found that through listening and going along, staying to the meetings as well, that community, listening, taking on board, and finding out what works for me. And that's what's helped me to lose the weight and also to keep it off.
Love that. I love that. So what I'm hearing from you is the community
Yes.
support
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
really critical for you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because
Mhm.
I always feel that no man's an island, as that saying go. And when we take responsibility for our actions, what we eat, what we do, our lifestyle, we first of all we have to take responsibility for it. And then when we have a group or a community that we can be accountable to,
Mhm.
that just can help us put some guardrails in.
Yeah.
Because if you know that you're going to meet your coach or your community, does that
Absolutely.
then help you to think, oh, I need to pull
Yeah.
back a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah, I can remember, and as I said, I have been a Weight Watchers member for years, but I remember another time that I'd lost some weight, and I thought to myself, oh, I'm feeling a bit embarrassed to go back
Mhm.
because I'm not at my target weight. It was only a couple of pounds, but it was enough for me not to go. And so I kept putting it off. And my friend phoned me, who I'd met at Weight Watchers and who's still a really good friend of mine now, maybe 10 years more. That's why I met her. And she said to me, she phoned me, she said, Sheila, come back. What is it you're waiting for? You know, you're not going to be told off because you put weight on. Come back. She said, you know, you can do it. And from that, it kind of influenced me. So we're here to support each other. And when she's had her tough times, I've helped her. So it's that togetherness, that community, that support, you know, it's there. I'll share as well with my running, because I love running. I'm really passionate about running. And that's something I say, you know, you've got, when it comes to losing weight, you can only do it in small steps. What I said to you earlier, diet, that was a thing for me. Lose a stone in 6 weeks, or the Christmas diet, things like that. But I've learned now, when losing weight, it's a lifestyle. It's not going to happen. It's a journey. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of life that you have to eat healthily. Once you know how to do it, that's the way to do it. And the thing that really stuck for me was I found with my running that I went along to what is known as park run. And I went along. I had no idea about running. I just thought you could sprint the distance, but it doesn't work that way. I had to take it in small steps. And from there, I then went and joined a running club, because I met a friend there, and she said, if you want to learn to run, you need to go to a running club. So it was about doing it in small steps, running for 10 minutes. I can see that tree over there. Let's try and run to that tree. If I can get to it, next time I'll run to the next park bench. So it was small steps. And that was the same with weight loss, that I've learned that I can't just lose that 20 pounds or 2 stones in a matter of weeks. It's small steps. And if I take small steps, it's going to help keep that weight off.
I love that.
It's the same with the running. I became passionate about it because I found I can run 1K now. I can run 2K. I can run 5. I can run 10. I couldn't have just gone out and straight and done 10K. I had to learn to take it in small steps. So for me, healthy eating and exercise go together.
I love
And I
that.
think also it's what I've got as well is a positive mindset. I think that's developed. As you said earlier, I'm a Christian. Christianity is very much a part of my life, and I put God first in everything that I do. And so I apply that positive mindset in my working life, in sort of losing weight as well, that God is at the center of my life. And so again, you know, I know that positive mindset. There's a saying that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that's very much one of my philosophies for life,
Love
that I
that.
can't do it on my own. It's a bit like losing the weight. I couldn't do it on my own because I wouldn't know where to start. But through the support of others, I've learned how to lose weight and to keep it off. Same
I
with
love
running.
that.
I couldn't run without getting that guidance, because I thought you just ran. But there's different types of running. There's running to sprint, to run 100 meters, and then you've got to take it slowly and build up so you can do distance running.
I love that. So that is so. My mind is just like buzzing with all these questions. I love that. So, you view your weight loss as breaking it up chunk by chunk, piece
Yeah.
by piece. Okay. And one of the key words that you said, you kept saying, was you learned, you learned, you learned. And that was in relation to weight loss. And likewise, and then you drew the comparison to running. You just don't go out and do a marathon. You have to
That's right.
learn how
Yeah.
to run. You
Yeah.
have to learn how you do it. So what have you learned about, because you also said that, you know, weight loss is now a lifestyle for you.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
what have you learned from back in the day when you lost those 20 pounds in 6 weeks to now making your journey a lifestyle? What's the difference? What have you learned in between?
I don't regret any of what I did or what's happened in the past, because if anything, as you said, I've learned. I've learned now that when I first lost that weight very quickly, that I couldn't maintain it. I didn't know what the next steps were. So I had to get that education to know how to lose weight,
Yeah.
sensibly and how to keep it off, because obviously it didn't work the first time.
Mm.
When I finished, I thought, that's it. I've got my little key. I've got my success. I've got my certificate. But what I do after that, I didn't know where to. I didn't really have that support. In actual fact, I don't think I went to many classes after. I did go to the occasional weigh-in. But what I've learned is that, as I said, it is a lifestyle. And that's why I said earlier, I used to call it a diet. I don't call it a diet anymore. That word, although we might use it, I might say I follow a healthy diet, but I don't say I'm on a diet.
Mm.
I say that I'm on a plan on healthy eating. So that's
Yeah.
what I've learned as well. Um, it's again, I would say, as I said, it's the support of people. It's a circle of people. It's like anything. When you're in a community, when you're around people who are positive, because that's why we have clubs and why we
Mm.
have like online workshops, physical workshops. Because quite often, if you start talking about you're trying to lose weight, people, oh, for goodness sake, they don't really want to know.
Mm.
So you want to be around people with a similar mindset to yourself, who understand, who want to talk about weight, who want to learn from each other, who want to compliment you, who want to be your support when it's in that situation. So
Mm.
that's a couple of things that I've
I love
learned.
that. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And then, as you said, you're comparing it to learning to run as
Yeah,
well. And it
yeah,
was the learning that has made you be able to run and to maintain a lifestyle where you
yeah,
run. It is
yeah,
the learning
yeah,
to do
yeah,
it. And
yeah.
likewise, learning how to lose weight
Hmm.
has helped you to keep the weight
Yeah,
off and to
yeah,
keep maintaining it. So that
hmm,
is absolutely key. I absolutely
yeah,
love that about the learning.
yeah.
So you mentioned that you're a woman of faith, you're a
Hmm.
Christian. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Do you go to church regularly? Do you
I
read your
do.
Bible? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I've been this morning. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I love that. And how does that shape your life, and what impact has that had for you on your wellness journey?
I think knowing God is really, I don't know of any other way. God has always been a part of my life. But I think when you develop that personal relationship with God and knowing God, I know that I can depend on Him. He's not going to let me down. I think it's helped me that I can reflect on things. And, I'm not saying that life is always easy. We all know that we face challenges, difficult situations, but what makes the difference for me is that I know that God hears me, He's going to support me. And I may not hear Him speak to me personally. Sometimes we do, but it's the people around me. I know I can pray about it.
Mm.
That's the key thing. I know I can pray. I can ask people to pray for me as well. So, and I think it's helped me in my career choices, the things that I do. I'm not involved in a job based at church, but I think that I can be a witness in my workplace. People know that I'm a Christian at work. People know that I'm a Christian at my running club. People know that I'm a Christian at the club, the health club that I go to.
Mm.
So he's become a major part of my life, and I know that I can depend on him. And he's made me very positive. I know I've shared before that um, years ago I wanted to go and do higher education, and I was in my 40s at that point, and it was a case of I hadn't studied for years, and I thought, how I don't know how am I going to do all this, but I felt that God equipped me because I was willing to take that step to do it, and I learned how to write the assignments, and I did extremely well at the end of it. But one of the things that it tells us in the Bible is nothing is impossible with God. So I think that's where my positive spirit comes from. And as I said, it doesn't always follow. It doesn't mean that if I ask God for something, He's going to give it to me. He knows the bigger picture. So He knows what He wants to give me. He knows how much I can bear. But I do know that, as I said, I've been blessed by God with so many things in my life. So I give thanks to Him for what He's given me.
I love that. I love that. And as you were talking, I actually wrote down in my notebook community. It
Yeah,
sounds like community is really, really key to you, whether it
absolutely.
be with your weight loss group, whether it be with your running
Yeah,
club, whether it
Mhm.
be with your church group. You know,
Yeah.
it is so key to your journey in your life. And
Yeah.
yeah, and you're right, we all need communities of
Mm.
some sort, you know, friendship groups, or
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
work friends. We all need that, and it's key that it's followed through. Now, Sheila, I know that you set yourself a challenge a little
Yeah.
while ago. Do tell us about your challenge.
I do. Okay. Yeah. So back in September last year, I was reflecting on the snacks that I had. And I was thinking some of these are like wasted points or wasted calories. And there was a bag of crisps that I used to buy virtually every day. It was like clockwork. I'd walk into the store near where I work and buy this bag of crisps every single lunchtime. And it was about 8, maybe 9 points. So I decided one morning, I thought, I'm not going in there. I'm going to see if I can set myself a challenge just for a week, not to buy any crisps. And it was quite hard. And I remember that first week, I went out to lunch with some friends, and it was like a sandwich they gave us. And on the side of the plate were the crisps. So that was week one. So I took the knife and pushed them to the side, thought, not eating them, just eat the crisps. And then at the end of that first week, again, it's like what I said, little steps. I thought, well, let's see if I can do a month. And then I just carried on. And I thought, after about a month or two, I thought, I wonder if I could do it for a year. So
Wow.
that's what I did. And I can honestly say I'm 2 weeks away from a year. So it's my no Chris challenge that I have been really successful at. Now you might ask at the end in 2 weeks' time when I celebrated a year, what are the next steps? The next steps for me, will Sheila eat another bag of Chris? Yeah, she will do. But and the but is that I'm now wiser about what I had because I've now learned of other snacks that I could have in place, healthier snacks that I
Mm.
can eat. So not eating the crisps, it's taught me a lot. It's about, as I said, wasted points. Those crisps that I were having was enough to have a same equivalent of having a lunch, just that one bag of
Yeah.
crisps
Yeah.
or a breakfast. So it's now made me think about how I want to use my snack choices going forwards, and also how I want to choose my points. But what's amazing is that I've actually done it for a year and I haven't
That's
succumbed.
amazing.
You
That's
know, I
amazing.
regularly get given, we have like sales reps that come in and they leave sandwiches and crisps. All I do is slide them to the other end of the table and put them away. I've had crisps in my house, they're still sitting in the shelf and I haven't touched them. So it's amazing what you can do if you really set your mind to it, you know?
I
So yes,
love that.
what I'm doing is, what am I going to do in 2 weeks' time? I've done a year, and how am I going to spend my points? I'm not going to go back to buying crisps for a year. In fact, I went into the shop and a lady said, "Oh, hello, I haven't seen you for ages." Because I went in to buy a pint of milk. The crisps were in the corner. I didn't go for them. So absolutely amazing what you can achieve if you set your mind to it. Yeah.
I love that because I love that. And well done, you. Well
Thank
done. What a
you.
total inspiration. I was going to ask you a question. What have you learned? And you answered that. You know,
Yeah.
you answered that. But what I want to know, Sheila, is mindset.
Yeah.
How has mindset or shifting your mindset been key to that? Because, you know, we all start out on the challenge and we all say, you know, we're not going to eat any crisps, or we're not going to eat the sweets or the chocolates, whatever. And we start out with good
Yeah.
intentions.
That's
And
right.
then,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes I was going to say a couple of days later, sometimes it doesn't even get that far.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes it's by the end of the day,
Yeah. You can
you
forget
know,
it. Oh, I've
we,
done it now.
we,
I
we
can't do.
give in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how have you built up your mindset to
Well, again,
help you shift past that?
as I said before, it's partly the experiences that you go through. Life is not always plain sailing. I should say that during this time, I've had health problems with my back, and that was enough to make me feel really low because it meant that I couldn't go running as often as I want. I couldn't go running basically because it was too painful. But I'm back running now, so thank God I'm much healthier now. But yes, how did I get that mindset? As I said, it's through experience is what does it, because you think, so I can do this. There's nothing to stop me doing it, so I can do it. And as I said, it's the same with the running. I think when you can see the success, that helps your mindset to stay positive, because I feel like I'm in a good place. When you know, as I said, I'm like anybody, you know, you have our moments, but the positive mindset comes from seeing that success. So going back to the running, when you see that you can run to the first tree, you can run to the next bench, that you can run 1 kilometer, that makes you feel positive. So the rule with running is you add 10% on each time to your run. So I found that I could do that with my running. And the same with the positive mindset. When I can see the weight coming off the scales, when I get on the scales and see that it's not purely because I've not ate crisps, but because my mindset is different, I'm in a good frame of mind. I want to lose the weight in a sensible way. I want to make good choices of food. So when I step on the scale and see that the figure is going in the direction that I want it to, that's what helps my mindset.
Love that. I love that. So, as you were talking, I was thinking that there's something there about that self-belief, that self-efficacy, because when you see that actually you can run from one lamppost to the other and you feel good about yourself,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, is it possible? Can I dare to dream to run non-stop to the second lamppost? And then you do that. Is it possible now to get to the third lamppost?
Right,
And you're just inching yourself away. And I remember when right at the start of my journey, and I was so ill. I was really ill with my health, my physical health, but also I was horrendously overweight. And I remember thinking, I need to start walking, I need to move my body. And for me, walking from my front door off the drive and to the end of the grove, I live in a little grove, it felt like I'd run a marathon. And it felt almost impossible. But each day I would just do, okay, I've got to the end of the grove. Now I'm going to walk halfway down the next street, turn around and go back. And then before I knew it, it was down to the shops, and then it was to the nature centre. And then each time I was just inching my way along. And before I knew it, I can leave my house and walk all the way down to the nature centre, all the way around it, which is about a 3-mile track, and all the way back. And it took time. It took time. But it is about, we shift that mindset when we start believing in ourselves and we start knowing what is possible. And if we never ever, as they say, if we never dare to dream about what's possible, we never ever believe it, and then we never ever take those steps.
Can I add as well that it's believing in yourself, and I like to also believe in others. And I've that's impacted in my church life, because I used to do some work with children. I've also at work been a mentor. My manager said to me, "Why are you always helping others?" He can't understand why I'm like that. But I like to see, so the belief in me that I can do well, I can do something positive, and my belief in others that they can do well as well in their career choices, in their jobs, that they can do really well. And again, even with running, even when we're running and you can see others, you're running around, they say it was the local park run of one taking part in a race. I'm focusing on getting to the finish line, but I also try to encourage others, because, you know, some are faster than me, some are slower than me, but we're all going to get to that finish line at the same time. So I try and encourage others, like, come on, you can do it, you can do it.
And
it's like, you know, they say, oh, right, oh, thank you, you know, and it just lifts your spirit. So, and again, it's the same about weight loss. You know, you could be when you go to a physical class or even on a virtual, somebody could be having a particularly challenging time. But as I said, it's belief in yourself, belief in others that they can do it. And as you said earlier, no man's an island. So belief in others that they can do it. And that's what I want to do. I want to share that. Like I said, the No Chris Challenge, when I've told people, I think, wow, how'd you do that? And as I said, I honestly just made that decision and I've stuck to it. And I know that other people said, oh, I've done that as well. So since I've had that conversation, I know of others that Weight Watchers that have said, oh, I started to do that as well. I've got
Love
other friends
that.
that I've got them. A friend of mine who I met at a Weight Watchers class years ago, she also took up running as well. And, you know, so it's just encouraging others. A lot of people who've seen me have also taken up a hobby as well. So it's belief in yourself, belief in others as well.
And I love that. And that for me is almost reinforcing why community is so
Hmm.
important to you.
Yeah,
Is to
yeah,
get that encouragement, but also give that encouragement as
yes.
well. So, Sheila, what advice would you give to somebody who is just embarking on a health, wellness, and weight loss journey? What would you say to them?
What advice would I give somebody just starting out? I would tell them to read the program, take it on board, listen to others around who may be on the same plan as you. Take your time. It's not a rush, because if you take your time, you'll get to understand the program better. So that's the point of view from the healthy eating side. I'd say incorporate some exercise as well, because the health and the exercise go together. You'll see results on that. And, you know, even if you don't want to run, you don't have to run. It might be swimming, it might be walking, as you shared as well earlier about walking. So I'd say find some activity that you enjoy. I know lots of people talk about their Fitbit and counting their steps. So I'd say as part of your plan, incorporate exercise, take your time over the program, get to understand the program that you're following. And remember, it's not a diet, it's actually a lifestyle. This is something that's going to keep you going. If you get the main idea of it and if you stay positive, it's something that's with you for life, rather than, because I know so many people. I've got somebody that I can think of at the moment who, I told her I was trying to lose weight, and she said, oh, I'm doing this program, it's all these milkshakes and that, and I'm trying to do it in time for a wedding. And recently she said, I wish I hadn't done that because I can't maintain it. I'm now
Mm,
thinking of joining a class, maybe doing what you've done and that, you know? So find something that works for you and give yourself time to get used to it. And yeah, I'm
I
sure
love
you'll see the
that.
results that you want to see.
I love that. I love that. So think lifestyle,
Yeah,
whether it's Weight Watchers or Slimming or whatever plan or program or method you choose to do. Think lifestyle rather
yeah.
than diet.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Sheila, I know that you love your Caribbean food.
Oh,
What's your
absolutely.
favourite Caribbean food?
Well, tomorrow we're having ackee and saltfish.
Lovely,
That's
lovely.
my favourite. That's absolute favourite. And later on, because I'm having a meal later tonight, it's rice and peas and chicken. That's my Sunday dinner that I'm having. But yeah,
Lovely.
absolutely love my ackee and saltfish. It's always been my favourite. You know, taste of the Caribbean.
I love that. And have you been able to build that in and into your
I do.
journey?
Yeah, yeah,
I love that.
I do point it. So, you know, you don't need to put an excess amount of oil into it,
Mm,
you know. So yeah, I can. I like my green bananas as well. So I have
mm,
green bananas as well. I don't go, yeah, I know that when we were growing up, I remember that's one of the things when I first came to Weight Watchers, you know, we'd have a plate full of rice
mm,
and you stack it up high. I've learned over the years that I don't need to do that. I can be quite content and satisfied
mm.
with the rice that I have. So I have less rice than what I used to have, but it's savor every moment of it. So yeah,
I love that.
still can eat your Caribbean food when you're following a weight plan.
I love that. I love that. And talking about saltfish, I made saltfish fritters
Wow, yeah.
yesterday. Oh my days, I love it. I love it. Yeah. So, for me, I still have all those delicious Caribbean
Mm,
foods on my journey. I couldn't.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think I would lose weight successfully if I couldn't
yeah.
eat the foods that I
Yeah,
love.
and it's interesting you asked that, because at the beginning, when I first came to Weight Watchers, I used, and I'm talking about years ago, I think, well, there's nothing on there relating to Caribbean food. So what am I supposed to do on Sunday or whatever day it is, you know? Oh, well, that's not going to work. But so it's good to see that over the years that, you know, these plans that you've learned that you can, again, it's education. Yes, you can still eat your Caribbean food, you know? So, yeah.
Love that. So, Sheila, we're coming to the end of our podcast. Is there any final words that you would say to somebody on their journey, whether it be around a community's perspective, a weight loss perspective, a fitness and running, or even around a faith perspective? What would you say to somebody?
Well, there's a motto that somebody told us some time before, and that one's always stayed with us. At that time, it was in 2023, she believed she could do it, and she did. Now, it doesn't matter what year it is, believe you can do it, and you will. It's as simple as that. That applies to weight loss. And as I said, it all incorporates my faith, because obviously believing that you can do something, as I said earlier, nothing's impossible. So it's that belief that you can do it, and it's the same with your sports that you do. It's the same with the weight loss. You believe you can do it, you can do it, and I know that's what I stick by, because that's helped me. I'm just so pleased that you know, in however time it is, I've lost a stone, and I've only got a few more pounds, 2 or 3 pounds left. And you know, people are saying, "Oh, you look so." I feel so much better for it. So believe you can do it, and you will.
I love that. And especially eating your favourite Caribbean foods, even if it's not widely reflected on a weight loss plan, you can still eat that and lose weight. I love that. Sheila, thank you so much. You, as always, has been an inspiration to me, and I'm sure to everybody else who is going to be listening to it. And I just love the angle around incorporating faith and belief on the journey. I think that is so important, because that's who you are. Yeah. Yeah, we're not, you know, we often think, you know, there's that old saying, we are what we eat, and there is that to some degree, but it is we are what we believe in. We are what our mindset can push us to. So there's all these different facets and angles, and I love that you've been able to come and share that with us today.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Kat. It's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you.
Thank you so much, my lovely. Thank you. So, guys, before we go, I am going to leave you with a little quote. And my quote for you this evening is, "We can't change the direction of the wind, but we can adjust the direction of the sails." So, guys, on that note, thank you so much for being with us, Sheila. And thank you to you for listening, and do tune in to our next episode. Take care now. Bye bye.